So if you were like me and you watched Tucker Carlson last night and you heard him say that we're going to run out of diesel fuel in the United States in the next 25 days about Thanksgiving time, you were rather startled. I was like, whoa. So I said to myself, Tucker's going to show us a chart here or something like that, isn't he? And no. So I decided this morning to kind of investigate that and figure out what was the deeper issue. But before that, here is Tucker explaining it in a nutshell last evening, Thursday night.
Thanks to the Biden administration's religious war in Ukraine, this country is about to run out of diesel fuel. According to data from the Energy Information Administration, by the Monday of Thanksgiving week, that's 25 days from now, there will be no more diesel. So what's going to happen then? Well, everything will stop. That means trucks and trains and barges all unable to move. Farm equipment will shut down. There will be no deliveries because there will be no trucks. There will be no diesel generators. And then, inevitably, our economy will crash.
Oh my God, is the economy actually going to stop in 25 days just before Thanksgiving? Well, no, actually, it's not, at least probably not, because we have 25 days of diesel fuel left, but that does not factor in what might be replenished in the next 25 days, right? So if every day we get what we need, then we won't be eating into that cushion as long as we get what we need. And that's the whole point, is that maybe we won't. As things get, supplies get tighter as we head into the winter, especially, I live here in New England, in Plymouth, Massachusetts, behind enemy lines, we tend to use a lot of home heating oil, which is effectively diesel, in the winter time. So I said to myself, whoa, let's look at some charts and see what Tucker is talking about. How much supply do we have left, and what is it compared to what we usually have? Let's take a look. So let's head over to Zero Hedge, right? We're immediately find an article with all the details. Thank you, Zero Hedge. U.S. diesel shortage increasingly likely until economy slows. This from John Kemp, who's a senior market analyst at Reuters. U.S. diesel supplies are becoming critically low with shortages and price hike spikes likely to occur in the next 6 months unless and until the economy and fuel consumption slow. So if you look at this chart here, which is, I wonder if we can blow that up for you. There you go. The red is the current supply, and the yellow is the 2021, so last year's supply. And the band there is the 5-year average band, with the dotted line being the 5-year average. So you can see we are well below the 5-year average band, and we're well below the 5-year average, and we're also well below last year's levels. What, Ro? That doesn't sound good, does it? And if you look at a chart for the last 15 years for distillate fuel oil inventories, you can see this October we have 106 million barrels. That's the lowest in October for the last 15 years, going back to 2007. But this is not a normal year, if you haven't noticed. We're actually in a war, proxy war, with our Russian opponents. And I know you're not allowed to say that. And we are in a home heating oil crisis, and it's only October. Now, I'm actually old enough to remember when I was a little kid that it was so bad to find oil that they would track the shipments depending upon, it was coming from somewhere in the Middle East, and various ports would lobby to have their port be the one where the ship would land, so New Jersey could get the oil, or Boston or whatever, because supplies were so short. And the fuel oil people, the people that run the small little fuel companies, are already sounding the alarm. Fox News. Heating oil company warns perfect storm coming this winter unless supplies are replenished. President of Apple Oil says homeowners in the Northeast and New England are dumbfounded over skyrocketing prices. Scroll down. Oil executive Sam Lavery issued a stern warning to Americans about the ability to heat their own homes. Europe is already having a problem with this as winter draws closer. and they could see a perfect storm, particularly in New England. Apple Oil Company executive said he agreed with Steve Doocy of Fox and Friends. The situation has become an emergency. States in the Northeast are reportedly already rationing heating oil as prices rise. There is no heating oil, Liveri said on Tuesday. Our supplies are low and we have high prices. So the bottom line is you're going to pay a lot more to heat your house this winter if you're able to even buy home heating oil, because you're basically subsidizing the war in Ukraine, which we can't win anyways, while our border to the south gets invaded. Don't pay any mind to what's happening on the southern border. We have to save Ukraine, spend more money on fuel oil if you can get it. So is Tucker right when he said we're going to run out of diesel by Thanksgiving? Not exactly. But if the war in Ukraine continues to tighten supplies much more than we're already at, do we really want to dwindle down our 25-day supply to say like 3 or 4 or 5 days? Does that sound like a good strategy? Or do we want to have a strategy where that 25-day supply, moves up to 50 or 60-day supply? That sounds like a better strategic position. Now, there is a reserve, which Tucker mentioned last night on the show, which he indicated would be exhausted if it was released in less than 6 hours. So that's not much of a reserve. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not. So careful with your hand on that thermostat more than ever. Hey, I'm John F. Gately. You can call me Jack, broadcasting to you from Plymouth, America's hometown, Massachusetts. Have a great day.